On the evening of July 7th, 2025, Dr. Nick vanishes. Some say on vacation, others say worse. Alex, in a panic, finds a replacement that would lead to a fate he never thought possible. The following footage is a result of that shockingly disturbing choice and would forever be known as Alex and the Texxifier.
That was great. Now, just so everyone knows, I had nothing to do with the writing of that script. Usually I have co-hosts do our script, but Tex took the reins. It was perfect. I wanted it to sound a little bit more like Texas Chainsaw 3. That's why I added the echo, but everything else was Tex. So thank you very much.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, hey, you sent me that email, and then like 10 seconds after reading it, like the idea for that hit me in the back of the head. And I'm like, I have to email him immediately. It just happened. So yeah, great, especially with the metal music at the end, and the explosions. Hey, it is just, we're just over 4th of July here. So, the more explosions, the better, my friend. So good job, sir.
Thank you. And thank you for being here. As everyone knows, Nick is in McKenzie, and I'm surprised he didn't get kidnapped along the way and tortured in someone's basement.
Or technically, the last time y'all saw Nick, he was over on my show with Frank and Jeremy. Maybe I made him vanish. I'd hate to, incriminate myself. Maybe he won't be here anymore. Maybe this is my way of taking over the YouTube, as they say. Maybe Nick doesn't come back. I don't know. We'll have to find out next week. Who knows? So.
Yeah, everyone tune in next week, including the two who unsubscribed between yesterday and today, because we went from 54 to 52 subscribers. Not saying it had anything to do with Tex. I think it's 2 of Casey's sock accounts. Hello, Casey.
Well, I tell you what, I can't tell you how many times I've had YouTube unsubscribe me for no reason whatsoever from a channel that I did not want to be unsubscribed from. So, it is YouTube after all. You never know.
Yeah, they don't put their rules out there very clearly when it comes to functionality.
Right. Well, it's just another cog in the wheel that's going to take us all down to the tube of eventual doomsday, where we all just end up in a volcano blast and we're all skeletons. So, it's going to be a fun ride, though. You just see, that's the part you got to remember. Enjoy the ride down, because that's the best part. So you'll figure it out.
And I did catch the end of Saturday is Raw on Casey's channel. And Casey, I'm sorry.
Oh
yeah. Next time I will have you on, but just so everyone knows, having Casey on as a co-host is the last sign right before the apocalypse. So we're going to give it some time.
That's that 7th seal that they don't reveal in Revelation. That they mistranslated. Once Casey is Raw guest host, we're all doomed. That's it. So we'll figure it out. But hey, I did tell him to tune in so he would make the comment section entertaining for everybody. So. That one's on me. It's all good.
And of course, the co-host, Dr. Nick, chimes in. Casey sticks video games up his bum and masturbates with Crisco lard while humming the theme. Jesus, that sounds more like a fantasy.
I don't think he's that qualified. I'm pretty sure he can't do that. But I don't think he can do it, but I do not want him to try and prove me wrong. I don't want to see that. So, we'll just say that he can and move on. So it's fine. No worries.
And then Frank chimes in as well. They're just piling on Casey. Oh, God. I'm sorry, Casey.
What's up, Frank?
Happy belated birthday to Frank. He is now using the vernacular from his show, he is now 651 years old. So all the best to you, good sir.
Well,
yeah.
You know, Frank's still alive and kicking, so he's you know, he's doing pretty good. So happy birthday, Mr. Concrete Shoes, as Alex would say.
I did say that on social media to him. Here's to many more years of movie reviews and concrete shoes.
Hey, you know what? Concrete's cheap, man. I mean, I don't think anything's cheap these days, but it's relatively inexpensive, you know, for that footwear. It's just not real fashionable. So you really got to pair it well. You know, you got to make it work.
When you guys pave your roads down there, do you use concrete or is it asphalt?
It's asphalt. It's like a mix. It's a blend. It's like a more of a blacktop kind of thing. Yeah, it's not just concrete. I had that job. I worked for the county right out of high school for maybe 6 months. And that was one of the most miserable jobs I ever had. Because for like 2 months, I was the guy that had to stand at the beginning or the end of constructions with that sign that said stop on one side and slow on the other and just turn it back and forth. And I seriously considered just diving into traffic a few times when it's like 110 degrees outside. Being forced to wear a hard hat for no reason whatsoever. I'm outside under God's blue skies, but I'm for some reason I need to wear a hard hat. So, yeah, you know, I was happy to walk away from that. It was not fun.
And speaking of the past, I am curious, and you don't have to reveal too much, but
all right,
maybe a little insight for our audience. It's a
sure.
big question, but however you want to answer it. There are many more branches to this question, but I'll just start here. How did you get on Derailed?
Well, years ago, back when Drew was still with Joe Cronin, is whenever I first encountered everybody, whatever, and then I don't really know. I kind of went away for a while, and then I watched again, and by that point, Drew had started Derailed on his own thing or whatever, and Drew was a friend. I hadn't spoken to him in a while. Started watching, and one way or another, I ended up being a co-host of that show as well, and friends were grown, and Frank, J-Man, Casey. Unfortunately, sometimes you just never really can tell about these people. It's good with bad. It's kind of how those things. But yeah, it was a just slow progression of just started watching Drew on Sunday nights and became friends with him, and I at one point or another got brought in on things, and you just kind of find yourself into things in life. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was. I'll say this: I missed the Derailed on Sunday night. Like for a long time, that was a tradition, and I loved the bantering back and forth of the news stories and the wheel spins and the derailments. But I'll say the thing I missed the most is the podcast Bedlam nights, where we'd play the games for like 8 hours on a podcast. And by the end of it, Drew and I would be so blackout drunk, just blabbering to one another. I don't even really remember what was said, but I know I had fun. So that's all that, what it was. Yeah, shout out to Drew. He's doing the gaming thing now. He's doing well and everything else. Of course, Frank hell, I talk to Frank more than I do some of my family, but it's just one of those things. So. Yeah, it's cool. It's been a fun ride, and I'm still enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, I completely forgot that Drew was with someone else before he started Derailed. I know of Joe Cronin.
That's been
heard that
years ago, though. Long time ago.
Yeah. Did they have a falling out, or did Drew just decide, hey, I want to do my own thing?
I'm not clear on all the details. I heard there was some sort of argument, fallout, whatever, but I wasn't present for it, so I can't really speak too much on it. But by the time I come back around, Drew was, off and running with J-Man and Frank and his regular deals. And I do have to mention, I won't quite crap on Casey all the time. because there was a short period of time where him, myself, and the Rose from the Rose Gaming were doing less than series on Tuesdays. I believe it was Tuesdays or Wednesdays. I think it was Tuesday. But yeah, it was fun, and the Rose and Casey are still doing less than serious on Sunday nights, every other Sunday night or whatever. But we're just one big podcasting network that's just scattered all over the place. It's all kinds of fun.
Yeah, it'd be interesting one day to try and create a picture map, like a web of Derailed and then everything that popped off from that, I think. But,
well, I mean, Frank has talked about wanting to do like a Derailed reunion or something, and I'd love to do it. I think it'd be great. I mean, because there was multiple crews within Derailed. It was the one that I was in. There was like one before that. There was whatever. So it would be cool to see everybody hang out or something or whatever. But life's so full these days, it'd be hard. Hell, it's hard enough just doing a podcast with 3 people, much less trying to get everybody together. So, who knows? We'll see what happens. Maybe we can pull it off.
Yeah. The old podcast I did, there were 5 of us, and one of them said, yeah, it's hard getting 5 adults together in one place to do anything. Oh, yeah, I agree, because we haven't done anything since 2021, unfortunately.
Wow.
Oh, well.
Well, I mean, from the movie review side, I mean, now I could shorten my time up, preparing for a review and do it cheaper, but I'll see a movie twice, read stuff, take down notes, put my thoughts together. I take it seriously. I do it as professional as I possibly can. And, I mean, if that's a new movie, that means going to the theater twice to see it, doing this, doing that, whatever. So there's a lot of time, love, and effort put into what I do, because if I'm going to review something and I'm going to put my name on it, it's going to be done right. I'm not just going to watch it once and, move the fuck on, But, it's the work that goes into it,
When did you start watching movies, not just casually, but on a regular basis?
Oh, I was early to film. God rest my grandmother's soul. I was about 5 or 6 years old when she showed me like Texas Chainsaw, Exorcist, some of the class. My grandmother loved horror. We'd go to Blockbuster. She'd just say, go pick something, and, didn't give a damn what my parents said. And like I said, I love her for it every day. If not for her, I wouldn't be the movie fan that I am now. And I've always been a movie fan. I've said it before, but movies are kind of the time capsule for me of how I remember things in life. I can think of a film, go back to whatever. Oh, the first Twister, I can remember where I was when I saw it, who I was with. That's one of the ways I've always kept my memories in life. It's, I'm a movie fan. It's always been a part of my life one way or another. I can remember with my grandfather rewatching Men in Black and Independence Day on repeat, because he had, I don't know how many VHS copies of those movies. My dad loved Tombstone. He wore out probably 5 of them VHSs going throughout the years until, whatever. But yeah, for me, movies have always been a passion. I mean, Joe Bob Briggs, the horror movie reviewer from Grapevine, Texas, my local-ish area. I used to watch him on the Monster Vision days back on TNT, the movie channel. And I've got to meet him, and I'll actually be meeting him again this Halloween. He's having an event, but I watched Monster Vision on Saturday nights on TNT. That's where the Godzillas would show. He'd do Friday the 13th marathons. He'd get all the low budget B movies. Really affected me as a movie fan, because you didn't see these B movies, these exploitation films, really anywhere else. You had to go to the video store and just dig their covers and not really know what you were going to dig out. So getting to see it from a guy that was from my area, who knew, where I come from, that to me, that was very special. And I mean, hell, Joe Bob's autograph's right there behind me on the wall. But yeah, it was really cool to see that, somebody from my area could do what he's doing now on Shudder with The Last Drive-In. Movies have always been really important to me. So yeah, I'm sure you can appreciate being a fellow movie fan.
Yeah, yeah. I try and watch at least one new movie every single day, if not two. And
Oh,
there's
no. I wish I had that
no
kind of time. I can't do that.
yeah. It's because I don't have a family to take care of, or acreage, or
Right.
livestock, or anything. Yeah, so I
Right.
got all
Yeah.
this time.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've loved movies since 1986. The first movie I can remember seeing, which was in the theater, was Transformers the movie,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
yeah,
That's a good one. Yeah. That's
that
a good
left
one.
an impression on me, especially when the late great Orson Welles, who voiced Unicron, when you're
Oh, yeah.
less than 5 years old and you hear that voice in the theater, it leaves an impression on you.
Autobots roll out. I can't do a Autobots or Transformers impression, but you can't say Transformers and not hear those words. It's just burned into everybody's brain.
Yep. Yeah, and from there, I remember at a young age seeing The Goonies and The Monster Squad and Return to Oz, and I
Oh, no.
think I think The Wizard of Oz is somewhere in there between 1986 and 1990. And then it was watching movies that I liked over and over, but eventually it got to the point where I wanted to see almost everything I could, and that's still the case. But I
Right.
realized there's more to life than movies. Even if I'm want to be in the movies or write something or just be part of the creative process somehow. It's a part of my life that is like the gym. Without it, I don't know what I do. It's not like it is my
Yeah.
identity, but it is part of me.
Yeah. I'm at one point I can, when it comes to movie making, would I want to be an actor, filmmaker, and easily filmmaker because you get to shape the process in so many ways, especially if it's an original idea. And to me, that's so much more appealing. I have more of a creative mind for that than I'm an empty vessel and I'm going to pretend to be Batman today. I can't do that. To me, that doesn't work. I can't do it. So for me, hell, Frank and Jeremy and I had like a 3 day conversation about he had an idea for an independent film he wanted to make, and him and I were pitching ideas back and forth in DMs, just like it was a pitch meeting or something. Like it was an enthralling conversation. It was great. So those are the things that run through my head. I've got a couple projects that I'm working on, script wise, ideas, a couple fan film versions of existing properties, and I have one original that I've had cooking for probably 5 years, and hopefully I can get done one day. But hey, you'll know if I'll become the next Damien Leone, and I've got the next Terrifier. That'd be kind of cool. But who knows? We'll see. So.
Yeah, that getting a hit like that's one in a million. Almost anyone can make a movie. I mean, you've seen B movies galore, as have I.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hell,
But
people are making movies. People are making Hollywood films with iPhones now. Like this is to the point in technology that we've become. I mean, now of course they're still editing it on professional equipment. They don't tell you that part, but they just say, "Oh yeah, we shot it with iPhones." Then they put it in their $1 million computers and yada yada, whatever. But still, it's like you said, the B movies, the low budget independent films is. I mean, if not for those, you wouldn't have movie stars. So they're very important to partake in.
yep. And before I forget, hello to Craig, Casey,
What's up, Craig?
and Frank. And yeah, that's all we got chiming in. There are two more people out there being quiet. That's fine. Maybe one of them's a Russian porn bot. I'm okay with that.
Nice. Hopefully she's hot. That's all we can hope for.
Speaking of movies, I keep forgetting to bring this up at the end of a show, but I'm pretty sure you've seen this. If you haven't, This, I think, is right up your alley. This is from 2014. It's called Circus of the Dead. You can find it on Tubi, Plex, and F.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah. I've seen it, but I can't remember what. It's been years since I saw it. I've seen that film though.
This one gets pretty dark, and Bill Oberst Jr., this guy has been in a lot of independent movies over the years. He's very good, but he's also very dark in this one. So anyone who likes really, really dark clown-related horror, this is for you. Hour 45 from 2014.
That's one of the things, I mean, I pimp out Tubi like I own stock in it or something. But I do that because there is a vast catalog of stuff you've never heard of, both good, I mean, and bad. There's a lot of stinkers on Tubi. I'll be the first to admit it. There's a lot of that. I get halfway done. I'm like, you know what? This ain't worth my time anymore. And I'll move on to something else. But I'd say it's at least a 50-50 split of, there's some really, and I'm not just talking horror, there's comedy, there's action, there's, the whole plethora of stuff that you can go on there and watch. And Tubi is one of those things that it's free. I mean, yeah, there's commercials, but hell, movie theaters have commercials literally in them now. When I went to go see Jurassic World, within the trailers for the new movies coming out, they had an insurance commercial between trailers. Thank you, AMC. I know you're $5 kajillion in debt, but I don't want to go to the movies to see insurance commercials. What are you doing, people? It's half an hour before it's a mess. AMC sucks, but this is why Tubi is better, because it costs you nothing but time. So stay home and watch Tubi movies. So it's all good.
Yeah, as our friend Knight from the Night Watch Zone says, nothing is better. I think it's nothing is better than free. So he pimps Tubi every once in a while as well.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, and I mean, what's cool about that is it's not just B movies you've never heard of. They get A films. They get the regular stuff. Hell, they had Jaws right before like 4th of July. Like right before it went to Peacock and stuff just recently. So there's Tubi. There's like 4 or 5. Pluto TV is another one that has a bunch of good free movies on it. There's a bunch of free movies, sir. I mean, I'm sure they're collecting all of my data, but hey, if China wants to steal my data, it's not worth much. So have fun. But you don't have to spend $100 to go to the movies to enjoy it with the family. You can go buy popcorn at your local grocery store and candy and go home and watch one on there I'm sure you've got a 65-inch television on the wall like most people do. Just do that instead. So there are ways around it,
Yep. And Frank and crew will be reviewing the new Jurassic Park movie tomorrow. But if you go to the channel, Frank spelled Jurassic like this, which makes it look like a porn parody version. Frank, I think you tied on one too many on your birthday, or
maybe
porn on the brain.
Maybe he did watch the porn parody, and that's the one he wants to talk about. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know we were reviewing porn now, but hey, I'm not going to say no. I guess we can do that. That's fine. So,
and speaking of movies, Tex sent me this link, which I thought was interesting. 10 best horror remakes that are better than the original. This is something that Nick would have brought up at some point in time. This is from Collider. And diving right in, The Ring. Now, I've seen both of The Ring movies. Now, which one did you prefer?
Not really being huge on the J horror. I mean, that's the name for it. The Japanese horror, they just call it J horror for whatever reason. I like the American version better. I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar, she's Buffy. Come on, man. How can you not love Buffy? Ringu, the original, I've seen it, but it didn't really catch my eye as much as it did others, apparently. So I'd go the American version on that one.
Yeah, I did see the American version before the Japanese, and although the Japanese version, it really grabs you in the first 10 minutes. After that, it kind of slows
Yeah.
down from what I can recall. So yeah, I'd go with the American version as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to say, because she is here, hello to Alma in a way that makes sense
That's
to
Alma?
her. Yeah.
La verga, perro. Híjole a la verga, hijo de su puta madre, la verga. La verga, vergazo.
That's Spanish for hello. Hi, Alma.
You know, Brett, I don't know if Brad Dourif knows Spanish, but I would love to hear that.
Ooh, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This, to me, is a no-brainer. I think the 78
Oh,
version
yeah.
is far superior than the 56.
Oh, 100%. Well, what's funny is technically you could also put Halloween 3 Season of the Witch on that same category because Halloween 3 just rips off this movie as well. So, yeah, the 78 version of this film beats all of them. Right? It's iconic of all of this franchise.
Yeah, although I did like the 56 version. It's interesting that movies that were made in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they really had to be creative when it came to storylines. And then looking at the 70s, the 80s, even now, where people are taking those ideas, maybe redoing them, not exactly word for word. Oh, we added a cell phone. It's a whole new movie now. No, expanding on the idea is not bad, but again, coming up with something completely original now is almost
it's impossible.
Yeah.
There's no well, it's not just now. There hasn't been originality for some time. There's only so many stories you can tell till they're just variations of something else. I mean, let's just be real here. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, but we keep trying. That's why with the freedom that independent film brings, you'll have a really, really out there idea, but it's something different.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's that saying? Good artists steal, but good artists borrow, but great artists steal, or something. Isn't that how the phrase goes, or something? So,
something like that. Yes. When a Stranger Calls. Now, I didn't see the 2006 version, but the 79 version with Carol Kane, I saw that in the past few years.
I remember seeing the 2006. I saw that in theaters, and then it ended up buying the DVD, I guess after it came out. Hang on one second.
Now, this 2006 version, I'm probably going to see it at some point, although looking on the IMDb, I think the rating is in the 5.0. Oh,
sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I know. Part of that whole, being a family man, shit you got to do. But yeah, no, When a Stranger Calls, I saw it in theaters. I remember liking it. I bought the DVD because at that point I was buying every horror DVD I could get my hands on. But the original, I don't think I recall the original, to be honest with you. Like, you've seen it, you could speak more to it because I don't really remember much about
it. I think it's the first 20 minutes are the best. And then after that, it does slow down.
Hit the wall. Okay.
It kind of does. It doesn't really, keep the same energy that it did in the beginning. But Charles Durning is a good actor, so that's why I kept watching.
Well, even the 2006, and I've talked about this on Frank's channel, numerous times of the horror boom of the early 2000s. How it was basically they took all the stuff from the 80s and before and up the gore level. This was one of those. This is one of those that kind of came and went. It didn't really do anything extraordinary. It was fine. It was passable, but middle of the road, but still an enjoyable early 2000s horror film, which I think the 2000s does not get the love that it should. But that's just my hill to die on.
Mm-hmm. And there were a slew of movies between 2000 and 2009 that probably don't have the popularity and the love that they should.
Oh yeah. Well, it everything from the Hills Have Eyes remake, which is by far better than the original. You had all the slashers starting from, Texas Chainsaw to Halloween. We're not going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street because Froggy Krueger, that was a mistake. But yeah, the 2000s were fun. I mean, hell, Dawn of the Dead 2004. Come on, man. How do you not love that freaking movie? A lot of good ones happen there. Frank and Jeremy are constantly battling over 80s and 90s. I'm over here like, hey, you know what? 2000s might have something to say to y'all. So, it's all good.
Yeah, there were a few that I saw in the past 5 years. I've only seen them once, but they left an impression on me. Slither, Splinter, The Crazies, Valentine, and I think the 2009 My Bloody Valentine remake. That was pretty good as well.
The 3D with Jensen Ackles. Yeah, that one was really good. I saw that one in 3D. Realistically, there's only like 2 3D shots in the whole film. There's one where they throw the pickaxe. I think another scene like a beer can flies at you or something. Completely wasted the 3D element. But My Bloody Valentine 3D, it's not the best film. It's kind of a cheesy horror film, but it's got the nudity and violence. I mean, what more do you need in a horror film? I mean, what are you coming here for? They delivered on what was needed. So, yeah, it was all good.
Yeah, the good old BBV scale, which I haven't mentioned in a while.
Yeah.
House of Wax. Now, I saw both
Love
of these
that movie.
within the past few years.
The original, of course, is the Vincent Price classic, and then the much trashier, which is right at my wheelhouse, with Paris Hilton getting, shish kebab with a fence pole. I mean, who doesn't love seeing that? My God, that was great. Then, what was her name? Elijah Cuthbert, the woman who's in that picture. She's she also started in the Girl Next Door, another kind of sex comedy from the 2000s that, is such a great film. But yeah, this one was good. What's that guy's name? Chad Michael Murphy or something like that. I can't remember what his name is exactly, but yeah, both House of Waxes are excellent films. 2 very different films, but both excellent.
Yeah, I agree. And hello to Ryan. Hope you're doing well.
Howdy.
Yeah, both of these films, great in their own right from their own time. Vincent Price was great in this House of Wax. I remember the first 15 minutes of this movie. The old version, that was great. Ooh, Amityville Horror. I saw the 2005 version before the 79. I have a little bit more love for the 79 version.
Really, the only scene from the 79 version that I think is better is the flies on the wall scene where the cross goes upside down. Like, to me, that's really the only scene from that film that is better than the remake. I'm not the biggest fan of Ryan Reynolds and a lot of stuff that he has done, but he really impressed me with this. The way he plays the manic, the dad that goes crazy, the overtime, the gradually doing that, the wood chopping scene from the remake of this film. I don't care if you've seen it before, but it holds up. That scene holds the tension that you would want it to over time. Works so well. I really enjoy the remake of this. I forget who plays the wife. I've seen her in a number of other things, but she really plays the terror of what's going on very well in this movie.
Australia's Melissa George.
That's who it was. Yeah, she was good in this one. She's, without spoiling it, the ending is done very well, and you feel the desperation and the sense of relief once the ending comes. It was a well done film. I enjoyed it.
I may have to take another look at it. If you want a really good Melissa George film from 2009, Triangle. I love that movie. I think that's on Tubi for free right now.
I've never seen Triangle. I'll have to look into that.
Yes, absolutely. You should. It's really good. It's kind of like a repeater film where people are doing, it's not exactly people doing the same thing over and over, but it's something like
Okay.
that without revealing too much.
Right. Right.
Ooh.
Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Evil Dead. This is one of the few horror franchises that, in my opinion, has never had a bad film. I don't know which film is better. Now I'm not talking Evil Dead 2 because I think Evil Dead 2 is the best movie they've ever made. But as far as the original Evil Dead and the 2013 with Mia, I don't know, dude. Like that's like putting two of my dogs in front of me and saying pick one. Like I don't know. I love them both equally. I think they're both tremendous. I mean, the first one, yes, if you watch it too close, you see how low budget it was. You can see the flaws, but then again, that gives its charm. Technically, when everybody thinks Ash, they think like Army of Darkness version of Ash, where he's one-linery and he's quippy. He's the action hero. In the original Evil Dead, Ash was kind of a whipping boy for most of it. He wasn't the real hero until 2. So, Evil Dead 1, to me, that's one of the weaker of the 5 films that they've had. But yeah, I mean, I love them all. The 2013, how they handled with Mia's trying to get clean off her drugs. She goes out into the woods. The tree graping, you know what I'm talking about. Holy cow, they did not hold back in that 2013 version. They were just like straight up, we're going to do this and show you every second of it. But my favorite scene in the entire movie of the 2013 is once the nurse gets the black goo vomited on her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the bathroom and clean up." And then we see her a couple minutes later, and she's got that gigantic piece of mirror carving her face out like a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern or whatever. Such a hardcore, brutal scene. The gore and the violence in the 2013 Evil Dead was amazing. The movie made money. Why they didn't make a direct sequel off of that? They even had a Bruce Campbell groovy cameo at the end of the film, and they couldn't do anything with it. One of those missed opportunities.
Yeah. But at the very least, we got an updated Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't really ask for more. And I myself, if I were the head of a studio, I would not put money behind doing an Evil Dead 2 remake. Because Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, yeah. It's perfect.
That
yeah,
alone.
Don't touch it. Don't add anything to it. Don't take anything away. It's the Three Stooges with 3,000 gallons of blood. I mean, and talking deer heads on the wall, and cutting your girlfriend's head off, having to saw your own hand off while you scream like a madman. It's like an acid trip into the 9 layers of hell. It's and you're laughing the whole time, even for like the non-super gore horror that. It's got such appeal that Sam Raimi got more money to make Evil Dead 2. Whenever I went to Texas Frightmare Weekend, I had already paid to see Bruce Campbell and get to meet him. There was over 1,000 people in his line. I could not get to it. I was so pissed off. I was very upset. But there's always next year. So hopefully, Ashley Slashy comes back to Texas Frightmare, please, Bruce Campbell. I will be there extra early next time. So please. So.
As to which I prefer, I have so much love for the original Evil Dead, but you convinced
I'd go
me.
2013. Gun to my head, 2013. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Because like you said, they did not hold back at all.
Oh,
yeah. Ooh, this one, because I saw the 4-part TV miniseries when it was released in 1990, and it's burned into my brain. I would go with the 1990 version over the 2017, but only slightly. They did a good job with this 2017 It.
as much as I have love for Tim Curry, I mean, he made Pennywise the standard. I'd have to go with the remake and what Bill Skarsgård brought to the role. I've never been the biggest It fan. We actually reviewed the miniseries and then the remake last year, I want to say, or something like that. I can't remember when we did it. And getting to watch them back to back, in reality, it's almost unfair to compare them because one was filmed on a television budget in the 80s and the other was filmed on a movie budget 30 years later. So to me, it's kind of apples and oranges, but I'd go remake over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting how in the past 30 years, TV and film have almost flipped in quality. Maybe not quite flipped because I don't watch TV anymore, but from the many people that I listen to who talk about movies and entertainment in general, quality of TV has ratcheted up since at least the 2000s. Now, movies, for me, they've always been up there, but TV is getting so close. So, yeah.
Well, I think you can kind of go back to like, when stuff like Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, Sons of Anarchy, so shows that really took off and boomed, that really changed television. I mean, once like, AMC was pumping out Breaking Bad and Walking Dead, that became a appointment television so big that they had to do a Talking Dead show right after Walking Dead because so many people were talking about it. And, then of course the streaming era starts. Well, it's much easier to fill those streaming services up with a 15 episode miniseries, season of a show than a 3-hour film. That's why so much money has been put into it. But, I don't watch a lot of television shows. I tend to rewatch the ones that I like, but there's actually one new show that it's on Shudder. If you've got AMC Plus or Shudder or however you have it, it's and I've actually been talking about it lately. Hell Motel, and basically, without spoiling, the short premise is a couple's satanically murdered in a hotel in the 80s. Well, in present time, a couple buys that hotel to refurbish it, but they refurbish it as a horror, like true crime hotel, right? And they bring out these 10 true crime people obsessed with this stuff. One's like a podcaster, one plays in the movies, and shenanigans happen from then on. But if you haven't seen Hell Motel, I think there's 4 or 5 episodes out so far. I'm not sure how many's in the first season, but it is a really, really good show. So if you haven't seen that one, watch that as well.
Yeah, you've pimped that at the end of a few reviews now. So
I have. Dude, it's great. Yeah. I fucking love it. Now, I will say, half point for no nudity. They tease you with it so far, and then they don't go all the way. But besides that, it's fine. So it's all good.
Hopefully the story makes up for it. When you describe
the story and the gore make up for the lack of boobage. I'll say that. So it's fine.
When you describe the beginning, the intro of that, it reminds me of I think it was a relatively low budget movie from 1980 or 81 called Motel Hell. Similar
Motel
premise.
Hell, yeah.
Yeah.
Farmer Vincent and his fritters. Yeah. Motel Hell, yeah. It's another good one. Yeah. It's not quite the Hell Motel show. This is more of satanic cult murders than what Motel Hell was. So it's a different approach, but both are amazing. I love Motel Hell. That great film. It's very, you can tell it was very inspired by Texas Chainsaw, some things, but it's not about it.
The Fly. Ooh, this one's a no-brainer to me. You can't go wrong.
Goldblum all the way, baby. Goldblum all the way. I love that movie.
Yeah. When you're going to have something graphic, you got to go to body horror king, David Cronenberg. Maybe Cronenberg's best work. I mean, probably his best film. I love body horror. This is like the king of the body horror films when you talk about that genre of, film. It's covered in Karo syrup and plastic appliance on Jeff Goldblum as he changes, and he's just going mad.
it's a trip into madness. It's great.
Yeah, and seeing that metamorphosis that he goes through in the second and the third act, that is great to watch, because you got to be so precise, not only as a director but as an actor each day that you're going to the set. Okay, where are we? Yeah. And at what point in the transformation am I? And how am I going to show that on screen? And you got to be so, minimalistically precise. Like incrementalism is where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if they shot that in order of scenes. I've never heard that either way, but I would imagine that kind of film would be really hard to do out of sequence, because like you just said, there's so many minute details to keep up with that would be hell. Like you'd have to have 3 different script supervisors to just make sure that you got it right. So I would imagine they probably did, consecutively, I would think.
It would make it easier, but then again, this is Cronenberg. If you've seen anything that he did between 1975 up to 1986, any movie that he did in that time period, listen to the dialogue that the actors speak. It's just so in depth. The amount of time that Cronenberg put into writing dialogue for his characters to say, it's very, very cerebral, and it could turn a lot of people off if there wasn't body horror, because it is very expository dialogue. I remember you saying in a very recent movie review that don't forget that movies are show, don't tell, and it's so easy to fall into the tell rather than the show.
Well, when it comes to the show not tell, like the 2 people that really come to mind would be Cronenberg and Tarantino. Because hell, we just reviewed Reservoir Dogs. What's the opening of Reservoir Dogs? The first 20 minutes of that movie, they're sitting there talking about is tipping good and Madonna being a whore. Like that's 20 minutes and you're encapsulated by every second of it. So it's if all you're going to do is tell, your tell has to be really good. But yes, film is a visual medium, so you really have to deliver on the visual side of this. Otherwise, you can lose an audience pretty quickly. It doesn't take long.
Yep, and if you want, and I've said this a few times before, a really good example of more showing than telling. Watch pretty much any Stanley Kubrick film. The Shining comes to mind. That's a great show. Tell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, The Shining. That's one of those movies you really need. Like The Shining is one of those, you may like it as a child, but you don't understand it till you're an adult. And even once you're an adult, it still puzzles you and questions. Kubrick. Come on, the dude made some pretty cool stuff, and whether he was or was not attached to the moon landing, that's a different kind of podcast. Still have my thoughts. But Kubrick there's a reason why The Shining is still like, it still gets, it's one of the terms, the phrase I like to use, but they still make merchandise today because that movie was so good. And even the sequel, Dr. Sleep, was not bad. It was nowhere near as good as The Shining was. But, Ewan McGregor, he did really well, it playing the son of that film. So I liked them both.
Yep. Agreed. And Rob Ager of Collative Learning, you can find both his YouTube channels pretty easy if you go to YouTube. He has gone into depth on various aspects of The Shining and what could this mean? What might that mean? There are endless fan theories on not only scenes, but lines of dialogue and particular shots that it could mean what they say it does, or it could not. Some people go a little bit too far when it comes to analysis and interpretation, but it's still fun to listen to.
Right. Well, that was Kubrick in a nutshell. It's very well known Kubrick was not nice to his actors. Who was the wife from the film? I can't remember her name. Can't remember. But
yeah, she died.
She recently died. He basically drove her crazy on that set. Like it's famous for what he did to her. But The Shining is, I mean, it's one of those movies. I'm not the biggest fan. It's not something like The Shining to me is kind of like Blair Witch Project. I need to like accidentally come upon it. If I watch it yearly, it doesn't have the same effect. I need to stumble upon it, years in between for it to hold the candle that it does. So I do love it though. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Shelley Duvall was the name of the actress.
Shelley Duvall, thank you. That's what they are. That's the see that I mean you'll understand when you study film as much as we do, names that will just fly to your head when you're about to talk about them. Then you look like a moron, but it's fine.
Ooh, 13 Ghosts. Now, I have not seen the 1960 version, but my girlfriend loves the 2001 version.
The 60 version, it's a 60s horror film. It's fun, but the remake of this, oh god, yes. You had Matthew Lillard, Shannon Elizabeth, the Proud Awake of Texas, Tony Shalhoub, awesome concept. People still want like a TV show based off of this about exploring all of the different ghosts and everything else. The tech was cool in this movie once again, and another early 2000s film that came out and really left its mark. Once again, doesn't get talked about enough. But great film, such rewatchability. The creature design on the actual ghosts themselves the makeup work is impeccable. It looks amazing. So if you have not seen the remake of 13 Ghosts, completely different from the original. Once again, kind of like with House of Wax, they might as well be different genres at this point. But the remake itself is really good.
Yeah, and the editing in 13 Ghosts, that is something that we would see later on in horror movies throughout the 2000s. The editing really helps in the second and the third act.
Oh, yeah.
And at least part of this movie was shot here in Vancouver because in the opening scene, the blonde guy that was with, who's the lead actress, I can't remember her name at the moment, but she's great. She's smoking hot. The guy that was with her.
No, she plays the daughter. No, she plays the daughter. You're thinking of the other one. I know you're talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was in Fallen with Denzel Washington from 1998. So the blonde guy that's with her, that guy is a Vancouver actor and acting coach. I met him once, so cool. That's where I recognize him from.
Well, one of those famous Canadian tax breaks for film. A lot of stuff has been filmed in Canada that was pumped out everywhere else because the money. So I'm not surprised.
Yep. Oh, this, again, no-brainer.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing
John Carpenter
from Another World. I saw this version, the 51 version, a good 2 or 3 years ago, and it's okay for its time. But the 82 version, I think, didn't get the love that it should have at the time, but now I think it is, and for good reason. You've
got Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. You got my money. All right, like Kurt Russell he's easily on my top favorite actors of all time list. He's Snake Plissken, man. Come on now, so many roles he's been great at. I love this film. The creature work, the practical effects, the way that they did use the CGI back in the day. This version of the Thing is, I'd venture to say, maybe the best remake ever. When in reality, it's very different of the film, but easily the superior of the two. I don't even really remember the first. It's been so long since I've seen it. If I'm going to watch the Thing, I'm going to watch Carpenter's. But this is me.
Yep. Every time I'll go to the Thing. I watched this with my girlfriend in the past 3 years, and I think before that I had seen it sometime in the mid 2000s. Okay. Come on, Casey, leave it alone. What are you doing?
What's it saying? I gotta check comment. I haven't checked comments tonight. Casey, you wish.
And
I'm
thank you
sorry
very
for the
much to
hatred
Wade.
text, but seeing you here is making me see red. Casey, it's not me making you see red. That's the high blood pressure now. You might want to see a doctor. But that's beside the point. So.
Wow. Yeah, you better lie down, Casey.
Take your pills. You'll be fine. Lay off the poison DoorDash food that you got. Maybe try something else and you'll be fine. Don't worry.
Now, remember, Casey, karma is a thing. So when you co-host one day, Tex is going to be all over you in the comments section. So mind your P's and Q's.
Well, see, that's the thing. Casey buries himself. I don't have to do any work. It actually works out pretty easy. Like, he kind of does it for you. So it's fine. Don't worry.
This was a decent little list out of all the ones.
Yeah, well,
only two I haven't seen.
I was telling Alex like, I wanted to do more homework like Nick does of scouring the internet to find this and that. I went through like 15 movie lists before I found one that was to my standards. There's a lot of stinkers out there, so there's a lot of bad takes on movies in my opinion out there on the internet. But yeah, it was. This one was pretty good. I mean, just some of the remakes that I thought were better than the original, like I said, The Hills Have Eyes, Dawn of the Dead, Friday the 13th. I love the 2009 film, the Zombie Halloween. Now, my most controversial take is Texas Chainsaw 2004. I think that is equally as good as the 74. I love both of those films. I could watch those movies every day of my life. I adore them in every way. But we've been to the point in movie land where we've been remaking stuff for a couple decades now. But it's kind of a make your own adventure at this point, especially with stuff like Halloween. There's like 4 different timelines. Whichever one you want to go down, whichever one suits your fancy. So, options are always great at this.
Yep. And like Casey says, there's a lot of lists on the internet that are horrible. Yes, and you're seeing, I am seeing a lot more in this day and age that are AI generated and just terrible.
Oh yeah, well, it's the misspelling, or you can just tell when there's no soul behind the keyboard when they're writing. Like it just stands out once you see it. You can't not see it. So, and half of them they just find crap to throw on a list for a click and to get their ad revenue for that. View that you just did. So that's the internet for you. What are you going to do?
Yes. But as well as there being a lot of horrible stuff out there, like I said in the last show, there's good stuff out there, and I'm trying to bring a little bit more of the positive side of the world and the internet to our show. And here is an example of that. At 82, Faith O'Reilly is proving that strength knows no age. She will compete in powerlifting at the 2025 National Senior Games and is our June Athlete of the Month. 82, and she's deadlifting.
I've never heard of the Senior Games before. Is this a Canadian thing? America? What is this?
This is... Good question. National Senior Games.
It does say USA behind her, so I assume probably American. But I don't know. That's cool. Yeah, Senior Game. Hey, you know what? I'd rather be doing that than rotting in a nursing home somewhere. Rock on, Grandma. Do your thing. You got the muscle to do it. Get out there and do it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think if retirement homes charged $10 more a month, they could get some decent gym equipment in there, and then we could have a bunch of jacked seniors. That's what we need.
Jacked seniors, there you go. Imagine the weight room with the 60s music blaring as they do their curls and their sit-ups. That'd be something to go see it. I've already left swift instructions. If I ever get to a point in life where a nursing home is needed, I'm to be took outside and two in the old computer. You know what I mean? Let's just get me on out of here. So it's fine, no worries. So I'll go ahead and write a note so no charges will be pressed. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I'd assume go out on my own terms. Old Yeller style. So that's just.
So then I'm assuming that this, and I'm going to show this video, this will not happen to you.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, it's right about there that she realized, oh shit. And then her friend's like, oh, I'll save you. Nope. Whoa.
Now, see, I've done that a few times, and I was very inebriated. It's like, oh, I can walk. I'm fine. And then you stand up and, you go back down very much. It happens. Yeah.
That was called When Getting Old Turns Deadly.
Now, how many hips were broken in that, do you think? Like 4, 3, 2? What are we going here? Well, if you were betting, what are you going for?
All of them. Even the ones that had nothing to do with hitting the ground, they just broke just from being
the ones watching were in such trauma they just exploded. It just it looked like the head scene from Scanners, but it was hips. It just went everywhere. It just happened. Hey, what do you?
Yeah, another Cronenberg reference, Scanners from '81. There is another example of a Cronenberg movie with excellent, lengthy dialogue.
Even if you haven't seen Scanners, if you've been on social media, you've seen the head explosion scene from the news anchor. There's no way nobody has ever seen at least that. So yeah, it's a fun one. And another one that I think did last year, I want to say. We're doing a lot of good stuff over on the Horse Street. Good job, Frank. You're doing a bang up job, sir. It's all good.
Yeah, those retro reviews, they take me down memory lane, and I remember them, so I don't have to rewatch. If y'all get a chance, I don't think you've done this yet. Tremors from 1990. Please do that movie.
We talked, I want to say Jeremy mentioned Tremors as a suggestion, but you know how it is whenever you're sitting there like, hey, well, what are we going to review this week? You just start throwing out names, and by chance, one gets picked. That's basically our process of, put them all in a hat and draw one, it seems like, unless it's like, oh, the new version of this is coming out, so we're going to do the old one. But yeah, Tremors would be a fun one. Kevin Bacon, man, come on now. How about it? Yeah, it must be done.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I are very slowly going through all the Tremors movies over the past 3 or 4 years. I think we're at number 5 right now.
I'm not even sure I've seen all the Tremors. I've seen 4 or 5 of them, I know. But I'm not even sure. How many are there in total?
7 or 8.
Jesus Christ, I'm way behind. I'm gonna have to catch up on that shit. Now I'm sure the ones on the back half are probably not great, I would imagine. But
no. The first one is incredible. The second one is okay, but after that, you're just watching to watch.
So the rule of diminishing returns is hard on the Tremor franchise. Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
All right. Oh yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Kind of like, now, is Tremors worse than the Howling franchise? Because that gets really bad about halfway through.
I remember watching the Howling movies. The first one was the only one that I give any credence to.
It's the only one worth watching. Like, yes. I think halfway through, it's like Australian hybrid. Like, they look like kangaroo werewolf things. And like, then the next one is like in an old Midwest town in modern day. Like, trying to explain the Howling franchise, even with my horror education, I can't even do that. Like, I'm not even that skilled. So somebody better than I.
And it's either number 3 or number 4 has got to be one of the worst movies I have ever seen. And I've seen quite a few movies in my day.
Oh, that's fun. What's Casey shouting about?
I think this would be fun.
Right, I'm fine with that. It's all good. Hey, Casey needs to, he's obviously jealous and, baby needs his bottle. That's fine. I don't care. I came here because Nick was nice enough. I invited him to join us for our Jaws review. And, Alex needed to fill in, and I was more than happy to oblige the favor that Nick gave us. So that's why I'm here. So if Casey needs to jealously invade, fine, whatever. No worries. But shout out to Nick out there on the road. Hopefully he's, having fun with his little eastbound and down road trip, smoking his cigarettes and eating his, gas station jerky and, whatever. So just stay away from the trucker speed. I heard that stuff will kill you, Nick. So make sure you not do that. So
now, Tex, being from Texas, he knows a thing or two about double wide trailers. But have you ever heard of a double wide lawnmower?
I need that in my life. Well, actually, see, technically, all that really is, do you have a ride mower or anything?
No, I've never had a ride mower.
I've got ride mowers with the deck almost that wide. That's really all that kind of is. And I'm to the point in life where I've got a tractor and ride mowers. I ain't push mowing anything. If it needs push mowed, I'm sending one of the children to do it. But I would use that more as yard art than actual function. Like that would be like, oh yeah, you got a broken down El Camino in your front yard, by God, I've got a double lawnmower. Suck on that. That's like redneck royalty stuff right there, by God. That's great.
And mentioning movie franchises, the Wrong Turn franchise between 2003 and I think 2015. Number 5 had Doug Bradley in it, and there's one kill scene in that movie where
that's the one in the hospital, right?
I
think that's one of the no. I don't know. Those Wrong Turn movies get weird towards the end, and then that last one was nothing but woke garbage. That was completely unwatchable. I hated that movie.
The reason I bring up Wrong Turn 5 is because there's one scene where there's a guy who's buried up to his neck in a football field, and the killer, one of the killers, the hillbilly killers, he's on riding.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that really hit me because of the way that he was screaming right before he got killed. I can't remember what he was saying, but it was really scared that they just came out of him.
Did you watch the TV show on Fox, Scream Queens? It wasn't on. I think it was on maybe 1 or 2 seasons. But it's now. You know my rule about saying the devil's name. I will not say her name except for this one time, for reference purposes. But Jamie Lee Curtis starred in this show. It was called The Scream Queens. It was on Fox. It was a spoof of the slasher genre. It had like the devil face killer, very screamish, whatever. But they had a kill, I believe it was in the first season of Scream Queens, where the killer does that exact same thing. He buries this guy up to the neck, but it's with a riding mower. So similar premise, but it was on a TV budget, TV standards. They couldn't show the gore as much, but very, very creative kill. That's one of the things I do like about the horror genre is, and with the Terrifier franchise, get creative with the kills. It doesn't just always have to be stabby with the knife. You can use other things. I mean, hell, Jason killed people with everything at this point. He killed people with a sleeping bag, by God. So get creative, folks.
Speaking of getting creative, I would like to welcome the Costco of video game reviews, Mr. Casey is Raw. He was here a minute ago.
Lord. I hate you, Tex.
Okay, get in line. Well, get in line, and you're going to be there a while because there's a whole lot of people back there.
Oh, I think I'm the president of your hate club.
Hey, you know what? You hate me, but every Saturday I still get an invite to Saturday is Raw. So you know what? I don't know what to tell you, pal.
Like, I just can't. I'm speechless for my hatred towards you.
No, you're speechless because you can't talk. But there's a difference
Oh, you're that that's a dick move. I hate you. So how you guys are doing today? Oh, and then,
oh,
as I say, you guys, I mean just Alex.
So this is an A/B conversation. I need to see my way out. Is that what you're saying, Casey?
This is now going to be
Oh,
in the gamer, not
Alex
Tex.
in the game. So there you go. Well, see, baby needs his bottle. Yeah, that's all. That's all I got to say. See, Casey, I mean, you with your illustrious movie knowledge, I mean, you can like touch on. I mean, we were just talking about the Wrong Turn franchise. What was your favorite of the Wrong Turn films, Casey? Like, which one of the movies really stood out?
Oh, there's so many. I can't put my finger on which one. Like, I don't know. It's the first or the second or the third movie.
Well,
So,
we know at least he can count to three, so that's good. That's something, boy. Now, who was and now to be fair, Frank and Jeremy and myself, or technically Jeremy and me, just reviewed the first Wrong Turn film. Who was the beauty that was wearing that gorgeous white tank top on the cover of that movie that we spent so much talking about? Early 2000s beauty, also starred in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the Bring It On franchise. I mean, you know her name, right? Without Googling, totally.
I mean, I don't need to prove anything to you. I mean, you just
Yeah.
for it. I know it. Like, I don't have to prove anything to you.
Yeah.
Why are you
Casey,
trying? Why are you
Casey,
trying
you
to?
sound a little bit flustered. Did you sit on too many of them video games tonight? Is that why you can't talk good? Is that what the problem is?
No comment.
Now, for educational purposes of all of us getting dumber listening to this right now, which one of them is the easiest to get up there? It's got to be the Game Boys, right? Like they
Well,
slide up there easier.
well, actually, the smaller they are, it's easier to shove them up there.
Well, we're gonna make sure to clip that out because that's gonna be used against you. I was setting that up for you, Alex. So there you
Kind
go.
of hard.
That's my present to you.
It's kind of hard to shove a Super Nintendo cartridge up my ass, but like because it's so wide. I mean, the Game Boy is like at least it's a little easier to shove it up my butt.
Jesus God. Oh, wow. Well,
If I can discuss Tex that I did my job.
what's that?
That if I can disgust you, I did my job.
Well, I'm not really disgusted. I'm more savage. Like I'm very hard to disgust. That's like you got to work real hard to do that. It's more of pity and sadness than anything. I mean, you're a special boy. Like, I always say, you're the retarded cousin we keep chained in the basement for a reason.
I am a special boy. I'm a special man. Gotta get it right.
Okay,
I'm older than you are. Unless you're going to say you're a boy, then like, okay.
Oh, my goodness. Well, since you're here, I know Alex has other things that he would like to do on his show besides, non-needed bullshit. So, Alex, do you have a story you would like to present, sir?
No, I came in to harass you a little bit.
Okay. Well, do you feel better now?
Well, I do have one last question. How do you show up to other people's show and have the camera on, but you show up to mine and you don't even bother to put your camera on.
Well, I've already answered this question, but for the special folks watching, I'll go ahead and repeat myself. Saturday's a hangout deal. Everybody, hell, half the time you don't have your camera on, so I don't want to see any fingers pointed. Casey is wrong. When most of the people on there don't, I don't really figure I have to either. And considering I'm filling in for Dr. Nick himself, I'm being held to a certain set of standards here. So, it is what it is.
And that's another thing. That just because Dr. Nick is on vacation doesn't mean he couldn't be on the show. Like, shouldn't he be more available to be on the show? Like, because he's on vacation?
You know what vacation is, Casey?
Yeah. It
means you don't do stuff. He wants to not do stuff.
Well, like next week I'm on vacation, but it's going to free me up to do whatever I want to do. So it's not like
Nick wanted the time to go spend with his loved ones and go do other stuff. That's what he chose to do. That's fine. He has that right.
I'm not asking why he couldn't show up tonight. I mean,
well, I tell you what. Why don't you go message him right now and then patiently wait for his response? How about that?
That's all I got. I just want to come in and harass Tex a little bit. Thanks for on Alex.
I'm glad we could suffice your your soapbox that you needed to stand on tonight. I'm glad you got that off your chest.
I still want to put I think I need that Brock Lesnar tag. How back in the day they had Monday Night Raw is starring Brock Lesnar. I think I need Alex and the Garbage Man starring Casey as Raw.
Well, I speak to that guy over there. It's his show. I'm the guest here. I was invited. I have no control over anything. Complaint department's over there. You handle it with him. All right.
Well, I'll let you guys be. I just want to come and, like I said, screw with Tex a little bit.
Well, I'm glad we made you feel better.
See you guys.
Back to your cage. Out of here, boy. Shoot.
Thank you, Casey.
See ya.
That was great.
Well, that was that was our charitable caution or our charitable portion for the week. We now have done a good duty for our parole officers if need be. So you can count that, for listening to that, folks. So, you're all better off for it. So.
Yep. And as Charlie and Emilio will lead us into, anyone who wants to participate, please do. We would like to thank Casey for being on in this particular manner.
Clap, golf clap.
Thank you, Casey.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I tell you what. Well, you know what? Casey brings the worst out of everything. What you gonna do? So it's all good. So I'm sure you have some stupid people or some Ricky Ricardo looking workout guy you want to talk about or something look like that or whatever. I'd love to go through that with you as well.
Yeah, I think Casey's appearance primed us for the next segment, which we like to refer to as Stupid People. And because StreamYard recently updated their layout, it takes me a moment to find it. But everyone mind your volumes, and here it is now. Now, being in Texas, I imagine you see quite a variety of stupid. Not to say anything bad about the entire state, but you get where I'm going. Just a person or two.
Yeah, well, I think stupid doesn't have a nationality or a certain zip code, but yeah, I think we all experience our fair share of the less fortunate when it comes to the intelligence. Yeah.
Well, I've never seen this. I've never done this, and I don't know about you, but inhaling from a balloon while driving is not a good idea. But that is exactly what he is doing for whatever reason.
Oh,
and he's going to pass out in 3, 2, 1. And there he goes.
Wow. You know what? I mean, now, okay, I'm not going to say I've never took certain substances while driving, which, no on me for it. But I've never inhaled. I'm assuming that's nitrous from a balloon or some sort of drug, or who knows what it is. I'm speculating on that. But get in the back seat, man. Passenger seat, just swap with your buddy right there on camera. I mean, now who's dumber, the guy driving doing this, or the friends watching the guy driving do this and pass out? I think they may be even stupider than he. My goodness.
If you've got a friend, if anyone has a friend who has talked about doing this, do not get into a vehicle with them ever. Now, we don't see the end of this video, so who knows if they crashed or not.
I'm just hoping that guy didn't procreate. That's what I'm hoping for. We can just hope that family tree got cut to a stump. You know what I mean? So let's just say it ended there. So.
On the topic of driving, there are 2 stupid people in there. This has, I got to mute this one as well. Now, for whatever reason, she's walking on the street. Boom.
Ooh.
Lucky AF. But
wow.
You can see that there is a sidewalk to the right, camera right.
Right.
But for whatever reason, she's got to, take the road.
Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have went and bought a lottery ticket right then, because you got favor on your side at that point in time. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, because it's, I think, 3 seconds after. Boom. Right.
I mean, think about that. She is literally, that looks like you could put that in the middle of a Final Destination. And, that's believable. That is gnarly. You ever just kind of sit around thinking, how many times did I almost die today just from the stupidest thing, from getting sideswiped? The guy, on the other side of the road, not driving in his lane or whatever. There's 1,000 little things that could do us in at any point. Life is so precious and so fickle in that way. Very fast.
Yeah, I agree. You could go very quickly at any time. So cherish every moment that you can, especially as you get older. I want to give a happy belated birthday to Mel Brooks, who turned 99 on June 28th.
Mr. Spaceballs, young Frank. He's got 2 projects coming out. They're Spaceballs 2. And did you see that they're doing a sequel, Very Young Frankenstein? They're making a script for that as well. So now the man is 99. From the research that I've done just about Spaceballs alone, apparently Josh Gad is going to be the one doing the majority of the work getting Spaceball made, which I'm not really in favor of. Nothing. I'm not the biggest Spaceballs fan. Young Frankenstein is my favorite of Mel Brooks' works, but I'll see both for sure. Who knows if either of them will come to fruition, but we can hope at least.
Yeah. Spaceballs is one of my favorite Mel Brooks movies. High Anxiety, which is a takeoff on Hitchcock films. That's a little bit higher, but it's a good one too. That was used in Spaceballs that I don't think translates well to the modern day. So I'm not hopeful for Spaceballs 2.
Yeah. Well, I read that Bill Pullman and apparently his son are both going to be in the film, which I mean, I love the trailer that they came out with. Like, what was it like? A Star Wars sequel, a prequel to the sequel, a sequel to the prequel, 5 television shows, and Oppenheimer at the very end. Like, the trailer was great. Like, the Crawl trailer was good. But, yeah, I mean, who knows if it'll get made? The man's 99. I mean, hell, Clint Eastwood's, isn't he 90 something as well? He's still directing movies. So I don't know how active he is, if he's more ghost directing or whatever, but hey, good on both of them. So get it while you can.
Yeah, Eastwood was born in 1930, so he's 95 this year. Last year, he directed a good movie called Juror Number 2, starring Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it.
Yeah. I heard it was pretty good. It was that the one about the white supremacist group? Or there's a Nicholas Hoult movie about it came out recently. I was wanting to see it. I saw the previews for it in theaters, but it was based on the Turner Diaries book or whatever. But I don't know. It's still I'll have to look up. But yeah, no, Clint Eastwood. He's, I mean, American legend, man, film legend, not just American.
Yep, and he was in one of the great spaghetti western series of all times, which is the Dollars trilogy. For a few dollars more, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And the first one, I think, I can't remember the name of the first one.
Fuck, I can't either. Well, I will say my favorite Clint Eastwood, still Outlaw Josie Wales. Outlaw Josie Wales is my favorite out of anything he ever did. That was one that I saw many times growing up, love it as an adult. I mean, in the battle of, I love both John Wayne and Clint Eastwood. I think I'm more of a Clint Eastwood guy than John Wayne, but they're both film legends.
And the movie you were thinking of is called The Order from 2024. This one's pretty good.
That's what it was. Yeah. I saw the trailers for it in the theaters, and I was going to go see it, but I missed it for whatever reason. I'm going to have to go find that one and watch it. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, this was an enjoyable movie to watch. You can find this on Prime Video, and as Tex likes to say every once in a while on The Harsh Truth, you can also sail the high seas.
Mateys, put on your Jack Sparrow hat, sail the high seas. Just do it on a device that you don't mind having, spam to death, and just don't use the best computer.
You got to have unfortunately, there's a caveat to that. You got to have a computer that's good enough for streaming, but also that does not have your personal information on it.
Right. Maybe go to the pawn shop and buy a laptop for $50. It's just good. It's just above the line, but if it breaks, it's not gonna, you're not gonna be too upset about it.
Yeah, and get yourself AdBlock Plus for whatever browser you use, and remember the Control W shortcut, because there are going to be pop-ups that show up no matter what streaming site you use. Take it from me.
Oh yeah. Yep. I don't do as much sailing of the high seas these days as I used to. As I get older, I've become more reputable in my movie viewing. Now, there was at one point in time where I didn't pay for a movie I saw, period. There was, whatever. But as I've reformed myself from my criminal ways, I knew where to get the good stuff at. So, it's all good.
You're gently trying to tell the FBI, hey, I'm not being as evil as I used to be.
I'm a good boy now. I'm all above board. I've never committed a crime in my life. I don't know what you're talking about. Sailing. I'm talking about boating. I've said sailing the high. What are you talking about? With the oars and you row and I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Shoot.
Speaking of sailing, here is some indie wrestling. Nick sent this to me a while ago.
Nice.
Here is a wild
Here we
man.
go.
We know that to be the case, Chris.
I even think he knows what he's going to do.
Going to the top rope.
He's in the
Here we
position
go.
to do it.
Acting on
Oh, yep. I can hear the disc slipping as he landed right there. Like that one, pop. Gonna need, do they have a wrestler with a chiropractor gimmick to fix that for him? That'd be kind of fun. I mean, we've had trash men and $1 million men. We need a chiropractor gimmick.
Yep. Indie wrestling is fun, but you're putting too much of your body on the line when you do that stuff.
It's been a number of years since I've been to an indie show. I went to one, like I was in a gas station one day, and you know how those have like a flyer in the door or whatever. And like I didn't recognize anybody on the poster. I'm pretty sure it was like all like Jiffy Lube mechanics and guys that want to be wrestlers that were doing this show or whatever. And we went to it, and it basically looked like that video you just showed. But yeah, indie wrestling, it can it's either guys that used to be somebody or people who want to be somebody. That's kind of what the indies are. I mean, at any point in time, and it's all good. So I mean, there's all. I guess you got to go to the indies to get to the WWE, right? I mean, you got to take them bumps or whatever. So do what you need to do.
Yeah, you got to start on the lower rungs in order to get up there. And speaking about putting your body on the line, we got to have at least one gym video.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well.
So, how to spot your bro at the gym doing squats, which is not easy. And this is how not to do it. You don't bear hug him because then that might happen.
Ooh.
So, again.
Yeah. It looks like he's trying to do something else to him there for a minute. That's just not right.
It's interesting that he dumped the bar because he got about a quarter of the way in. I think he realized he was going too far back. Maybe his buddy was pulling him far back.
Well,
so that's
what it looks. I mean, the guy in front is already starting the lane, but the guy behind it, yeah, he looks like he's like, all right, just keep coming back, you're good. And then the guy in the back died because barbell crushed his larynx, and now he's a ghost. So.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that's one thing, because after I had the heart attack last year, I started going back to the gym. I go 3 days a week now. Well, I try to do 3 days a week. I go at least 2, but I don't do as much of the power lifting and stuff. I've got back issues. I can't really do that yet, but I'm doing more of just general cardios and maintenance, and I've lost a good bit of weight. I had to buy new pants for like the first time in years because mine didn't fit anymore. So it was actually a good thing. But it's I appreciate y'all's gym videos and the what's his name, El Campione or whatever you say, whatever, the guy that the Ricky Ricardo lookalike with 5 belts on. I've never understood. I mean, I've worn weight belts. Like, you just look like an idiot. You're not helping yourself. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, the fact that guy sells merchandise, which I'm glad y'all recommend not buying that garbage, because he needs to be shunned from society, not given money, but whatever.
So, are you saying that if we told people not to buy his merch, they would buy his merch?
No, see, I think even without y'all's prompts, people still would be like, no, I'll keep my money. I'm good. I mean, what are you going to buy? Like his face on a weight belt or a T-shirt? I mean, is he going to sell work boots? I mean, what's he going to sell? I mean, the guy spends all this money on workout equipment. And you're wearing your Doc Marten boots to go to the gym. Do Nikes not fit you, dude? Some Reeboks? I mean, I'll wear my tennis shoes when I go. I'm not wearing my work boots, but hey, I guess whatever's good for you, man.
And speaking of El Campion, here's one where you don't see much of his face because for whatever reason, he is wearing an altitude mask. I've never understood this. I've seen people do this in the gym, wear altitude masks. Now, you think with an easy bar and that much weight, he's going to do a deadlift with straps. And he does kind of do a deadlift. Okay, fine. But what's he going to do now? Well, whatever that is.
Nothing. He's going to tear a muscle is what he's going to do.
And he drops the weight, which means he should be kicked out immediately. And what is this? Those are not hammer curls.
No, that's going to be a torn bicep. What that's going to be.
Yep. And of course, it says perfect rep right there. That is a perfect rep. Come on, man. Swinging.
Now, maybe the mask is, he's like training like he's in a different altitude and his breathing is different, maybe. I don't know.
His brain is on a different planet than ours.
Oh, no, he's completely stupid in every way possible. That's not even in question. But I'm just trying to find, well, I don't know why I'm trying to find justification of moronic behaviors, but whatever. Yeah, that dude, something else. My Lord.
Casey, what is a G.M? Well, what we learned from Dr. Casey, the proctologist, emphasis on raw, meaning raw butthole. A G.M is a place where you will not find Casey as raw because they don't have video games there.
That is true. Casey'd be the guy that walked in with like a bag full of fresh fast food for everybody to smell and piss everybody off. That's what Casey would do. Be like, what? I'm here for my snack. Everybody's trying to get all healthy. He pulls out a Big Mac and a 20-piece nugget or something or whatever. That's about something he'd do.
Casey's next job, Planet Fitness.
Oh, yeah. I went to one of those, but like once I first started going to the gym, I was like, you know what? This is a well-known standard. I thought Planet Fitness was going to be good. And I walk in and like half of the staff work there. Like they did not look healthy. The place was not managed well. I'm like, this place sucks. And then luckily where I live, there's like one little like family-owned joint kind of place. It's, it's whatever. And I signed up there and that's where I go to do my exercises and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not a Planet Fitness guy. So no, whatever. I really wish I could afford home equipment because I don't like dealing with other people's sweaty nonsense. It drives me nuts.
Yep, same here. I am a stickler when it comes to putting the weights back where you found them, cleaning up after yourself, wiping everything down before and after. People look at me strange, but at the very least, no one has to pick up after me.
Well, I mean, okay, I'm not like a super clean freak, but it does annoy me if you go like eat at fast food, right? And you bring you've got your tray and your food on it, you sit down and eat, and then you just walk off and leave without taking your tray to the trash and putting it up. That annoys me to no end. So yeah, I do have a few little ticks that I think everybody has, but that's just one of them. So whatever.
And for not going to the gym, Casey does make a good point. For working out so much, his body doesn't ever show improvement. Exactly. I agree with you, Casey.
Well, that's because he's not actually working out. He's just now. Okay, how long have you been following this guy? I've always been curious.
Probably about a year now.
So, have you ever seen him injured from these weights?
No.
See, I find that very fascinating because the stuff that he's doing, he's going to pull a muscle, he's going to slip something, something's going to pop. There's no way he hasn't been injured. Like, I do not believe that whatsoever. There's no way.
Yeah, I agree. I think if he has been injured, he's taken time off. He's not talked about it. I guess it would bruise his ego as well. I've seen people do Zercher lifts, which I do not recommend, and I'm surprised that they don't, blow out their lower spine doing those, because those are dangerous. You're bending over, you're curving your spine trying to lift that weight. I would not do a Zercher lift or recommend anyone do it.
Now, there was one video. I saw this video before you had emailed me about coming on here, like a couple of days before. It was on X, it was this woman. She gets a barbell, and there might be 100 pounds on the barbell. I think there were 250 plates on one on each side or whatever. It wasn't a lot. So what's the bar? 10 pounds, so maybe 110 or whatever it was. And she puts her back foot on this ledge back here, and then she's literally doing a full split while doing a bar lift. Now she does it successfully. I mean, this woman was a full-on bodybuilder looking type. But I'm thinking, like, Jesus Christ, if I tried to do that, they'd have to sew me back together. Like, there is no way humanly possible to, whatever. But some of the people can, man. It's crazy.
And I do have, to round out the show, I have one Karen video. Luckily, it's under 2 minutes long.
Hell yeah.
And this is not a Karen that is going to burn into your brain. So I think the regular intro would do for this one.
So she's not kaiju, is what you're saying. She's not quite kaiju, Karen? Oh, okay.
Yep. But it is an HOA Karen and homeowners association.
Oh, those are always good.
Yeah.
Here comes Karen.
All she wanted to do this week was to have a little lemonade stand.
That's okay.
You're so great. You're so sweet and neighborly. I appreciate it.
Our street, so we're like, so you just pick a random street.
Yeah.
This is a great.
Yeah, you're the victim.
Go ask them if you can set up over there. There's public land over here.
Call the cops. I'm done talking to you for this poor little girl. If you have children,
you're making this a totally traumatic event.
I do.
How sad.
Maybe you guys should ask.
So maybe you should have a heart in your body.
It wouldn't have changed your mind.
I told her, ma'am, but I follow I look into the regulations and everything.
Oh,
I do
it's
have
a freaking lemonade stand. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Call. I'm done talking to you.
Okay.
Call. And then go away and let us sell until the cops come.
No, don't sell. It's illegal.
Okay, the cops can do that for us. Great. Thank you, citizens arrest.
Hey, look it. No, it's not super fun.
Thank you. You're great. Oh, that's what it was. You're amazing.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. Wow.
Thank
what happened
you.
to this country? It's the saddest thing.
Yeah,
Little kids can't even have a lemonade stand without a neighbor freaking out. Home.
We have no traffic between right now.
Nobody's stopping here either.
Well, it's more of a chance. We had 5 cars go by on our house. We'd have 0.
So if nobody stopped them, why do you care?
Exactly. They're not obstructing traffic.
Right.
I don't know that they're on a public sidewalk or they're on the edge of a private property or what. That's not entirely clear.
Well, number one, HOA shouldn't exist. If I own a home, you don't get to tell me anything anymore. You don't get to tell me what color to paint my house, what kind of mailbox I have. You can piss off. That's the only right that you have if I own my home. I'm not going to let somebody else tell me what to do with my property. That's a good way to get in a wood box around here. But Jesus Christ, it's a lemonade stand. Come on. The kid's trying to, learn a little responsibility and have some fun. I mean, hell, it's like the lady said, ain't nobody stopping anyways. Who cares?
Yep.
What about the traffic, do you, that you were so worried about? No. 911 it. 911.
It's simple as easy. The cops don't need to get involved. You just need to pack up and go.
We are in 30 minutes.
Not 30 minminutes.
Oh, get a life. Just go call the cops in your house.
No. Yay, thank you.
I could only imagine the amount of calls to the police regarding these little inconsequential things that in the grand scheme of things do not have any effect whatsoever on society. I don't get it.
It's so stupid. Could you imagine? Okay, for the argument's sake, we'll say this woman has a husband. He had to hear about this for days after this happened. She drove back by that stand just checking to make sure that they were gone. because this is one of those bored housewives that has literally nothing going on in her life and has to just ruin somebody's day to make hers feel good. These are some of the worst people on the planet. That's absolutely disgusting.
Yep, and I am a person who is a stickler for rules and laws, and I disagree with this person. So that would be a debate to have with her, but I don't go near people like this.
It'd be one thing like, okay, if you just post up in front of somebody else's house, like you're like, well, let's say there's the house, yard, sidewalk, and then a little patch of grass. If you're in that little patch of grass in front of somebody else's house, yeah, then you need to get up and move. That's I'm on the side of it. But that right there, I mean, the lady just said, "Oh, there's public land right there." So it's pretty fair to assume that that's public land, and the spot they're probably on, arguably, maybe public as well. And she's just looking for a nit to pick. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, there's something to be said for people having a little bit of power and wielding it way too much for whatever reason. I don't understand it.
It's so dumb. I mean, people. If there's a legitimate gripe to be had, fine. But it's a kid with a lemonade stand. Oh, Jar, they probably didn't sell much at all, if you. I mean, I can't say that I've ever stopped at a stranger's lemonade stand. That hasn't occurred much in my life. So I don't know. Whatever. Does that even really happen much anymore? Apparently, I don't think.
I think in the past 10 years, the amount of lemonade stands I've seen, I can count on one hand, maybe.
Right. Well, and it's, people are so germ conscious now. I don't see a lot of people stopping on the side of the road to buy an open container drink from the street. Like, I don't think that's really going to fly. That just say, when you can go to the 7-Eleven or whatever your gas station is and buy a bottle of lemonade, if you just really need one of those, or out of a fountain or whatever. I don't think lemonade stands are getting a lot of sales these days, but I don't know.
For all the things I've thought about lemonade stands, I've never thought about, well, maybe kids are spiking the lemonade just to get back at the adults who might have put something in the Halloween candy.
There's the difference. If you're telling me there's a spiked lemonade stand, now you have my business. Because if you're telling me I can stay in my truck, pull over, hand you a quarter, and you hand me a spiked lemonade, I'm going to hand you a whole $5, and you're just going to hand me a whole lot cup. But that's, I highly doubt they've got Everclear or whatever they're putting in the lemonade. Who knows that?
And I think we're going to end it on spiked lemonade. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Yep. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, a lot of things have been ended on spiked lemonade, and they were all bad choices. But fine. Whatever.
Thank you, everyone who chimed in over the course of the show, be it for the moment or the duration, including Wade, who liked us on Facebook, Ryan, Alma, Craig, Frank, Dr. Nick, and Casey. Thank you for being on and in the chat. And people who we have not seen in a while and we hope are doing well: Overseer, Beverly, Svelte Brody, Shlomo, Riley, Junior, Van, Coos to him, Edward Blake, Rashid Jurgens, Freak Nasty Bumsex, Wild Bill, Mr. Garner, Gordon, Penny, Trish, Jen, Tamara, my friends Sarah, Chantel, and Teresa, Sarah May, our friends Matt, James, Jared, Kathy, Fraser, Sheena, and the future champion of the galaxy, Dewey Robson. 2 Trevors, 2 Cindys, all 3 Jolenes. Maybe that's the ingredients for a spiked lemonade. Nathan, Nick's mom and dad, my aunties Di and Kathy, and cousins Lisa and Adam, and of course, shout outs to Gareth, Susan, Ravi, and Ashley. Gloria Pouchfonte's quiche smelling uterus, code for spiked lemonade.
Wow.
Unfortunately, for the world of online streaming entertainment, Alex and the Garbage Man will return next Monday, July 14th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Berta time. Tex, a great Canadian, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate your time and being in the comment section pretty much every week for the past, year or two now?
Somewhere around there. Well, I appreciate the invite. Like I said, I wanted to oblige the favor that Nick gave us on the harsh truth side, so I figured it was only fitting in perfect time. So, we're all friends here in this little podcasting, corner that we do. We're basically, we're our only viewers, and guess what? That's okay with us. That's fine. So, it's all good. But yeah, thanks for the invite. Hope everybody enjoyed our time here tonight. So.
And you bring up a good point. Our little podcasting, let's say, area of YouTube, because having a gigantic audience like Mr. Beast or PewDiePie, that's something that I think is unmanageable. So I think having
it's just so impersonal. You can't get to know anybody. Here we have low audiences, but guess what? We're friends. I mean, whether we're loving on each other or fighting with one another, who you're talking to. And that's something cool. Like, Casey, of course, we're yanking his chain and whatever, but we're all friends, and that's all part of the game or whatever. So it's all in the fun. I like that. I don't like the word community because it just sounds, I hate that word. I've never liked that word, but our little fellowship, let's play Lord of the Rings here. We have a fellowship or something. I don't know. But yeah, I dig it. It's fun.
Yep. That's a great word. I'd rather have a fellowship than a gigantic audience that I know nothing about. So when all is said and done, years and years from now, when we are gone, at least not only were we were here with each other and, actually maybe building something just for ourselves, maybe not for the world at large, but, we were here.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, if somebody, we're always welcome to newcomers. If you watch our shit and you like it, say hi in the comment section and bullshit with us. That's the way it works. But, it's all good. We all the way from where's Ginger Broad, Drunk Broad. Where's she from? Irish, Scottish? What the hell is she? I can't remember.
She's from Scotland.
I knew she was one of them Brits. I couldn't remember which one she was, but we're from all over the world, so it's fine. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. By the way, shout out to Ginger. We didn't see her tonight. I figured she'd have some snide comment to say, not seeing my face on here, but we missed out. Maybe she's already passed out in the ditch somewhere or something. Who knows what's going on?
Maybe she was one of those who unsubscribed.
She saw my name and said, "Oh hell no, that bastard's coming." I don't think so. I'm out of here. I'll come back next week.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Aside from the harsh truth review of the new Jurassic Park movie tomorrow, what else would you like to pimp?
Thursday on the harsh truth, Jeremy and Frank they're continuing their Kevin Smith journey that eventually I will join them on, but Clerks 2 on Thursday. So they're keeping going in there. I'm not the biggest Kevin Smith fan. The really only ones I care about are Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Mallrats, Red State, Tusk. The rest of his stuff I don't really care. So Jeremy and Frank are going to have their fun talking Clerks and Clerks 2 on Thursday. And like you previously mentioned, Jurassic World Rebirth tomorrow. We'll have Brooding Gamer, our resident dinosaur man, there to fill us in on all the little nooks and crannies of stuff that I don't know about, because I'm over here just waiting for October so I can, talk about Michael Myers for a month. So, it's all good. So be there tomorrow. We'll be on regular time, same harsh truth time and channel.
And with regards to movies, because Nick is not here to give us his music, then I will pimp one movie, and this is a movie I have mentioned twice before, from 2022. This is streaming on Tubi right now. Hundreds of Beavers. A 19th century drunken Applejack salesman must go from zero to hero and become North America's greatest fur trapper by defeating, not scores of rodents, Hundreds of beavers. This movie is awesome. I love this movie. It's an hour 48, including credits. Please take the time and watch this. This is awesome. This is definitely a movie that shows. I don't know that there's much or any dialogue, so it's a show, not much of a tell.
Wow.
This is a wild ride. You got to see this movie. This is awesome.
Hundreds of beavers. I'm going to check that. Now, I'm a fan of the Zombievers movie. I'm sure you've seen that one as well. Like, that one's an all-time classic. Like, that's just from the title alone. You know, it's amazing. Or Zombies. Zombies was another horrible movie that I've seen too many times. Just so many of the. I love the animal, monster movies. The Gigantic Shark versus Piranha. I like anything like that stuff. I will definitely watch Hundreds of Beavers. I will check that out. I'll have to give that one a gander.
And I will do you the favor of watching Zombievers in the next week.
Oh, you've never seen Zombievers? Holy shit. Oh, you're going to like it. It's fun. It's pretty good. Just the poster alone is worthy of watching. Like, when you see the poster, you'll see it. So it's pretty good.
I'm regretting my decision already, but okay.
It's one of those. You'll know the poster when you see it. It's you'll know what I'm talking about. So it's a fun one. I dig it.
All right, well, that is it for this week on Alex and the Garbage Man, featuring the Texxifier. Again, happy belated birthday to Frank and Mel Brooks.
Birthday, Frank.
And also, happy belated birthday to America. And
damn right, man. America.
Give you an idea
I was gonna
of what
wear,
the intro is going to be. Yeah.
I was going to wear I had bought these little sunglasses that were red, white, and blue, and they lit up, but I dropped them in my pool, so they didn't light up no more. So I was like, yeah, I can't wear these if they don't light up. So I just threw them away. So it was too bad. So, yeah.
Well, perhaps when you come back in October, you'll have found another pair.
Oh, I can't wait. We're going to, we got to do some kind of October Halloween special. Now, I will say Halloween night is on Friday, and I do have plans, but that Monday before I'm free, so I'm sure we can figure something out. So it's all good.
Yep, Monday, October 27th, 2005, Alex and the Garbage Man, featuring Tex talking about horror movies, of course.
Damn right, buddy.
But until then, everyone, take care and bon voyage.
Adios.
Oh,